So going to do some of the brass details on the wingback chair. I'm not going to do the feet because I think it's easier to do it in two parts. Basically going to do the top and some of the back buttons first, and the little side bits as well, I guess. So we'll make a start, but it's going to be easier to hold it and to then let it dry with the feet not painted, and then I'll just do them separately off camera. But this is model colour brass that we're using today, so not as dark a colour as what I'd used on the mimic chests and the water barrel, the treasure chest I guess you could call it, and the water barrel chest. They were a darker colour, so I thought with this, you know, it's kind of like more like a regal sort of look that I'm going for, like a very fancy chair. And I think with the older style chairs it was actually brass that they used anyway when they were making those kind of metal features on furniture. Sure, I'll get a comment if it wasn't, but yeah, so we're running with brass. Doesn't look too bad for a first coat, and get the idea of what it's going to be. And now we'll do these sides, I guess. Okay, inside. Lovely. Need some more paint for the buttons on the back though, or rivets I guess they would technically be. Rivets? Oh, rivets are really metal to metal though, so probably not a rivet. Certainly not a thumbtack, although that's kind of like the look that they'll end up being. Not sure what the correct terminology is for furniture metal. Oh, it's kind of like a nail, I guess, a wide nail that sits on them. More brass. I did a second coat of the polished gold on the pot of gold mimic, and those coins just really pop now. Look so good. You could just see as the second coat was going on just how much of a difference it was making. Obviously you want these to look as round as possible. It is part of the design, so yeah, try not to touch any of the gold areas. Obviously have though, because I've got some on my finger. Okay, let's hold it there. Nice, it's coming along nicely. Some of these buttons are designed bigger than others in the actual design, but I'm just going to try and keep the size reasonably consistent because they would be a manufactured product, obviously, a rivet or nail or thumb, whatever we're going with. Okay, now let's hold that there. There is also a bit of like scroll sort of motifs in the woodwork, but it's the back of the chair, so I'm not going to worry about highlighting that, I don't think. I don't think you would, like a furniture company would worry about it too much. And it's not very clear on the front, so I'm just going to do the sides like I have, but that is the bronze coloration, so yeah, coming along. So just using the Game Color Scarlet Red to do the monster eyes. Similar sort of format as with the other mimics. I do kind of like the single slit and the little kind of lines or dots coming out. Not really enough room on these eyes to do too much vein wise, so I think I'll mainly just do like little dots. I think that'll look the best. With bigger models, obviously you can do like more like veins running out, but not really enough real estate here to do that. So this is the sort of second phase of the monster eyes. So white went down first. Now I do this with the dark red And then when this is dried, I get the fluorescent orange and go over the whole eye. That gives the kind of bloodshot look that I'm going for. Happy for some dots to be smaller, some to be bigger, like you don't need it to look uniform or in a perfect row. But with a human, obviously the eye looks very, very different. So I like this kind of style because it does look so different to what you do with a human's eyes. And especially for a creature like, you know, so many eyes, it just makes sense to have it stand out as very different. I'll just put the tiniest amount of paint into the palette and it's still going to be way too much for what I need. Yes, that's the kind of effect we're going for, so it's coming along. Alrighty, welcome back. Didn't do much model work yesterday or painting. I was in woodworking mode. I still have a small woodworking shop and just doing like a little unit to go next to my work from home desk for when I'm at home. So just a very small kind of unit that'll sit on the ground and hold some work items, some tissues, some medications, a whole bunch of different little things to kind of organize it all into one area. So anyway, I was in woodworking mode and started timber staining that, and that's still like to have that equipment and those skills, so if I have a need for anything particular I don't have to buy it, and also so that whatever I make is custom made for my size and dimensions of the area and for whatever needs and requirements I have of it. So my partner's only a couple of days from heading off on her Japan holiday and break, so presents are all bubble wrap that I printed and painted for the cousins and nieces and nephews, I should say, the nieces and nephews. So they are all put away. Alrighty, that's the background fluorescent orange with the eyes. So I'll just, when that's dry, just get the red color again and just kind of highlight the eye slits to make them pop. So I can get rid of that. It's probably a bit too much paint to leave there. change brushes. So now I'm going to go for this Game Colour tin colour for the rings on the sides. The reason for that is just because it's a nice dark colour. It's going to stand out against the metal grey, and also it's going to be, you know, obviously quite different to the tone of the rest of the model, so it's not going to distract from the gold on top or the white and red in the mouth. Hopefully you didn't pick up too much of that audio on the Vortex mixer. It does make a bit of a noise. Tinny tin. Because one tin was not enough apparently. Yeah, it's got a lot of good shine to it. I mean, acrylic metals are amazing these days compared to where they came from. When I first started painting models, I was using little Humbrol enamel tins, and absolutely nothing against Humbrol. It's an amazing brand, an amazing range, but I just hate the cleanup with enamel paints. Like, it's just so much easier with acrylic. But for the longest time, you just couldn't get anywhere near the same look with acrylic paints. They just didn't have the same finish. So you could easily tell, oh, that's been done with an acrylic, and it didn't look anywhere near as good. But, you know, obviously they've just improved their formulas, and the technology, as with everything, has just gone leaps and bounds. Nowadays they look amazing and look just as well. So, you know, I do still have some enamel paints, but they basically just sit on the shelf and don't go anywhere and don't get used. Just washing out in water is so much easier. Yes, 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 yes. Happy with that choice. When I first started, like I decided to come back to painting when I got into 3D printing, because I had a long period there between, like, the rail path and models I bought when I first started role playing as a young adult, and now with 3D printing as an old adult on my way to 60, not that far away. I had bought a whole bunch of paint sets, so you know, I didn't buy individual like mark paints. I bought paint sets. I didn't buy individual Vallejo paints. I bought one of those big paint sets. It cost like $300 or whatever, which per bottle, when you work it out the math, it was actually you know, reasonably discounted. And when you've got none, you kind of need all of the basics. But anyway, I ended up, because I wasn't sure about the metallics, I ended up buying a Tamiya paint, enamel paint set. Like, I forget how many paints it was. It was over 30. It was a big set. And you know, you spend, I forget exactly how much, but hundreds of dollars basically. And then obviously I got into Vallejo. You know, if you've seen any of my videos on my painting setup, you know, it's like 75% Vallejo, you know, 20% AK, and just a few spatterings of other things in between that. So yeah, it ended up that Tamiya enamel paint set just sat there and never got used, because I was like, oh wow, these new model metallics are really good. So I ended up selling that. You know, obviously you'd take a bit of a loss, but it was a unopened set, and I was like, it's just sitting there. There's no point holding on to it really. Anyway, that is the 2 rings and more work on the eyes of the pot of gold mimic. So yeah, just got some work on the wing back chair to go. But that's going to be more like distressing work, like making the cloth look, you know, worn, making the edges of the timber look worn. But you know, it's the foundations of it are done. With the pot of gold, I'll just kind of be doing some washes or something around the mouth area to make that all look a little bit more natural, rather than quite so clean. But yeah, other than that, the pot of gold mimic is a lot closer done. Anyway, as always, thank you for watching.